Hello, let's talk about the Paradise Papers. They are a set of 13.4 million confidential electronic documents relating to offshore investment that were leaked. It was first leaked to the German newspaper Süddeutsche Zeitung. The newspaper that received the leaks, the confidential documents, the newspaper shared them with the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, also known as ICIJ, and they made it public just recently. The documents originate from the offshore law firm Appleby, the corporate services providers Estra and Asia City Trust, and business registries in 19 tax jurisdictions. They list more than 120,000 entities, which would be people and companies. The money involved in these leaks is $10 trillion. The Paradise Papers leaked the tax evasion that many high profile public figures have done. Public figures and popular entities, like companies, brands. Usually they move their money through offshore bank account in territories and countries like the Isle of Man, Montserrat, Bermuda, Guernsey, and many more. This this doesn't necessarily mean what they've done is illegal. They're just unethical. Alright, let's take a look at the list of people and companies that were named in the Paradise Papers. The ICIJ even put a disclaimer make to make people aware that this is not illegal. This isn't a criminal act. Alright? There are legitimate uses for putting money in offshore tax havens or tax paradises. In French, paradis fiscal. That's why it's called the Paradise Papers. It was named to be so that it would be similar to the Panama Papers. It's very similar, but it was a long time ago. The exact disclaimer is there are legitimate uses for offshore companies and trusts. We do not intend to suggest or imply that any people, companies, or other entities included in the ICIJ Offshore Leaks database have broken the law or otherwise acted improperly. The Guardian describes the Paradise Papers as this. The Paradise Papers is a special investigation by the Guardian and 95 media partners worldwide into a leak of 13.4 million files from two offshore service providers and 19 tax havens company registries. The files reveal the offshore financial affairs of some of the world's biggest multinational companies and richest individuals, and set out the myriad ways in which tax can be avoided using artificial structures. Alright, let me list the people that were people and organizations that were named in the Paradise Papers. Let's start with government officials, especially powerful ones. Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of the United Kingdom and of the Commonwealth realms that are the members of the Commonwealth nations. Petro Poroshenko, President of Ukraine. Juan Manuel Santos, President of Colombia. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, President of Liberia. Former head of State Jose Maria Figueres, former President of Costa Rica. Let's take a look at former heads of government. Shaukat Aziz, former Prime Minister of Pakistan. Jean Chertain. Alfred Gusenberger, former Chancellor of Austria. Yukio Hatoyama, former Prime Minister of Japan. Paul Martin, former Prime Minister of Canada. Brian Mulroney, former Prime Minister of Canada. Gerhard Schroeder, former Chancellor of Germany. Ahmad bin Hassim bin Haber Al Thani, former Prime Minister of Qatar. I'm just gonna enumerate the cabinet officials per country. Two in Argentina, two in Brazil, one in India, three in Kazakhstan, one in Kenya, one in Lebanon, two in Mexico, one in Serbia, four in the United States, including Stephen Mnuchin, Secretary of the Treasury, and Rex Tillerson, Secretary of State. These are the members of legislatures that are named in the Paradise Papers. one in Canada, one in the European Union as a member of the European Parliament, two in India, one in Iraq, two in Japan, one in Mexico, one in Nigeria, two in Russia, one in Ukraine, two in the United Kingdom. Other government officials, one in El Salvador, one in India, two in Indonesia, one in Saudi Arabia, one in Spain, and four in the United States of America. And relatives and associates of government officials. Stephen Bronfman, close friend of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, in Canada. One in Ghana, one in Greece, two in Indonesia, both children of former President Suharto, one in Jordan, one in Montenegro, one in Russia, one each in Spain, Turkey, and the United Kingdom. And there's a lot of non-government officials and other people. Here's a list of them. Right. Here are the companies. I'm gonna try to do this really fast, okay? Camesa, Colonial First State, Commonwealth Bank, Shell Western Supply and Trading Limited, Appleby, Estera, Hydro-Quebec, Loblaw Companies, Maple Leaf Foods, Montreal Canadiens, Petro-Canada, Suncor Energy, FinFund, Dossal Aviation, Allianz, Bayard, Douche Bank, Douche Post, Meininger, Siemens, Sixth, Wirecard, Apollo Tires, MR India, SL Group, GMR Group, Havels, Hindujans, Hiranandani Group, Jindal Steel and Power, Sun Group, United Spirits, Videocon, DST Global, Gazprom, TNK BP, VTB Bank, Asia City Trust, Illovo Sugar, Investec, Shanduka Group, Standard Bank, Glencore, Roshan, Barclays, Sol Antunes y Guianas Limited, Amazon, Apple, Baker McKenzie, Bank of Utah, Facebook, Goldman Sachs, McDonald's, Nike Incorporated, the Blackstone Group, Twitter, Uber, Walmart, Whirlpool Corporation, Wynn Resorts, Yahoo. Let's take a look at the universities that were named in the Paradise Papers. University of Toronto, University of Cambridge, University of Oxford, Colgate University, Columbia University, Dartmouth College, DePaul University, Duke University, Indiana University, Johns Hopkins University, Northeastern University, Ohio State University, Princeton University, Purdue University, Reed College, Rutgers University, Stanford University, Syracuse University, Texas Christian University, Texas Tech University, University of Alabama, University of Pennsylvania, University of Pittsburgh, University of Southern California, University of Texas System, Washington State University, Yale University. So let's take a look at multiple people's response. In this video, we're gonna focus on the response by public figures who support social democracy and progressivism in North America. Corbyn said, quote, "The revelations show that there was one rule for the super rich and another for the rest when it comes to paying tax." Alright, I'm gonna let you listen to Jeremy Corbyn's full response to the Paradise Papers thing, right?
Another subject that we're covering today, of course, is the Paradise Papers. Bodies and individuals who've invested in offshore tax havens, not necessarily breaking any laws. Should action be taken? Should a review be carried out?
Yes, because if somebody has a large amount of money in Britain, which would be subject to taxation on the investment income or whatever form of taxation is appropriate, and they are able to put that money into an offshore tax haven, become wealthy as a result of it, and the rest of us not get the taxation income, be it in Britain or France or any other country that's done that, who loses? Schools, hospitals, fire services, ambulance services. The public realm loses as a result of it. The anger out there, when they read this stuff in the paper about billions being put away in tax havens, it's got to be countered. The only way to counter it is to make sure we have a serious system of tax collection at the point that the wealth is created.
So there should be a review.
Yes, indeed, there should be a review, and John McDonnell has called for, which I support, here's the Labour Party position, an inquiry into all the revelations surrounding the Paradise.
Including the Queen.
Everybody. And so that means the royal household are subject to taxation. I don't know what has happened in that case. These issues all must be part of that realm. And I don't think anybody really wants this to be carrying on.
Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont has also responded to the Paradise Papers. U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont said that, quote, "The major issue of our time is the rapid movement toward international oligarchy in which a handful of billionaires own and control a significant part of the global economy. The Paradise Papers shows how these billionaires and multinational corporations get richer by hiding their wealth and profits and avoid paying their fair share of taxes." So, Jagmeet Singh is the leader of the NDP, the New Democratic Party of Canada. And on Twitter, he tweeted, quote, "The hashtag Paradise Papers reveal extreme unfairness. We need a tax system that works for all, not just the well-connected." And then he points to an article by thestar.com. Liberal fundraisers held family millions in offshore trust. Leaked documents reveal. Now, this is in response to Justin Trudeau's Justin Trudeau's close friend being named in the Paradise Papers as one of the people that were investing heavily in offshore bank accounts. And, for many, they consider this as tax evasion. Remember when Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party, 2 years ago in 2015, they went into power and then they promised to, quote, "fight for the little guy, the average Canadian, to lower taxes on the middle class and raise them on the rich." They promised to be progressive, to be for the many and not the few. And now, the Liberals are silent about this. Kind of. It's good to note that Jagmeet Singh of the New Democratic Party was kind of late in his response to the Paradise Papers, because Conservative MP Andrew Scheer pretty much responded first and caught more attention. So Andrew Scheer says that the Paradise Papers are a leak that show the Liberal Party's hypocrisy when it comes to tax fairness. He's pointing out that this is tax evasion.
Mr. Scheer, I'm trying to put this in the big picture because it's a legal way to avoid taxes. Why is it so wrong for Canadians with millions of surplus dollars to take advantage of these havens?
Well, the issue here is about the Prime Minister and Justin Trudeau's attack on working Canadians basically since at least July, but even in his first few budgets, raising taxes on working Canadians, taking away tax credits, and this outrageous attack on small business owners since the summer. Meanwhile, going after employees who enjoy a staff discount and people with disabilities like diabetes. So you put that into context. That the explanation for why they had to do that was because there are all these people out there who are just structuring their finances or structuring their businesses to avoid paying taxes. And here we have, at the end of this process this summer, these revelations that the people who are going to suffer with Justin Trudeau's policies are the very people who create opportunities, the small business owners, people who legitimately run businesses and try to create opportunities. But a group of people who were not touched were his wealthy friends, the people who have the ability and the capacity to hire lawyers and accountants to set up these kinds of accounts were not being touched, whether it was owners of Morneau Chappelle, people who own vast amounts of shares, they were all being protected. So our point today is more about the hypocrisy, more about the fact that this Liberal government, Justin Trudeau, has been demonizing a whole swath of the Canadian population. Meanwhile, the circles he runs in, his close friends, his wealthy buddies, are able to continue structuring themselves and their businesses so that they pay less tax and less tax here in Canada.
Here are some main reactions. As I've said earlier, U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders has attacked the rich, the upper class, and the corporations that were exposed by the Paradise Papers. Because, according to him, they got richer by hiding their wealth and putting them in offshore bank accounts to avoid paying their fair share of taxes. This is what progressives mean when they say that the rich don't pay their fair share of taxes. It's not that we need to raise the taxes on the rich on a very unreasonable level. It's that they need to put their money where they live instead of putting them in tax havens with very low taxes to avoid paying the tax rate in developed countries. Mel Stride, the financial secretary to the Treasury, said that there were many legitimate reasons for using offshore trusts. Mel Stride said that the opposition, the Labour Party, was creating an quote, inaccurate picture of all the people using offshore trusts as being eye-wateringly rich or tax dodgers. So she is defending it, the actions of the upper class to put their money onto tiny countries and territories with lower taxes. The European Commission has called for swift action on tax evasion, including a blacklist on tax havens. So, this is a tweet by Pierre Moscovici. Quote, "It's time to complete the EU's," referring to the European Union, "the EU's anti-tax evasion toolbox with swift decisions on hashtag intermediaries and the hashtag tax havens, hashtag blacklist, hashtag Paradise Papers." He added later on that, quote, "Much has been done." No, really, that's it. Quote, "Much has been done at the European level, but we must go further and faster with member states." So that's Pierre Moscovici, the European Commissioner responsible for taxes and tax policy overall. The Paradise Papers, Theresa May has refused to promise a register of offshore trusts because, according to the Prime Minister, what's already been happening is there's already been created more transparency. Meanwhile, Jeremy Corbyn, the opposition's voice, is saying that the Queen should apologize for doing this. Let's start with May. So the Prime Minister Theresa May, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom Theresa May, was asked at the CBI annual conference if she would create a new transparent public register of the ownership of offshore companies and trusts. Quote, "We've been continuing the work that David Cameron has been started. He started it not just for the UK, but on the international stage as well, and that's important. There's already work that is being done to ensure greater transparency in the dependencies in British overseas territories, and we continue to work with them. HMRC is already able to see more information about the ownership of shell companies, for example, so they can ensure that people are paying their tax. We want people to pay the tax that's due." So that's what the Paradise Papers are, and those are the reactions of public figures and government officials of different nations. What do you think? Maybe you can comment. Goodbye. The documents originated from Appleby.
Woo!
Gimana sounds yan?
No.
Woo! Created by John Cena. Woo!
The major issue for Times the rapid movement toward
John
internet.
Cena, John Cena.